With over 800 exhibitors gathering in Las Vegas, Nevada, NBAA-BACE is North America's largest gathering for the business aviation industry. After being forced to cancel the event in 2020, NBAA 21 will simply not disappoint. With unprecedented demand for private aircraft coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world's most advanced business aircraft are here on display. Suppliers up and down the supply chain are represented here at this event and come together with private, corporate, and commercial business aviation operators from across the industry, all ready to meet face-to-face once again and collaborate in advancing the business aviation industry.
Well, it is an honor to be sitting here with three men who have served our country in the military, including Mark Winthrow. He was a crew chief for the Air Force and is now the president of Kaman Composites. And we talk a lot in this industry about companies making a difference when it comes to technology, speed, and power. They do all of that, but also, Mark, you've made a difference for not just our community, our world in a way, as the first company to send an unmanned helicopter to deliver materials to deployed troops. So tell us a little bit about this. The passion and drive behind a project like that must be incredible.
Yeah, you bet. When you think about Kaman, the first thing that jumps off the table at you is our dominance when it comes to innovation, and that's what we're known for throughout our history, starting in 1945. In fact, in 1958, we were the first company to have an unmanned aerial vehicle. And a lot of people don't know about that. And so that really is a launch platform for us as we continue that into the future. And so when we look at what we did on autonomous flight in 2011 through 2013, we partnered with the U.S. Marine Corps to take the risk away from our warfighters and have autonomous flight with our K-MAX helicopters, which we partnered with Lockheed Martin. And we flew over 4.5 million pounds of equipment in forward operating positions without a single loss of aircraft, and certainly no loss of warfighters.
Wow.
The K-MAX helicopter is very unique. Can you tell us what separates it from regular helicopters?
Absolutely. The K-MAX is unique in that it has an intermeshing rotating blade system. So when you look at it starting up, it looks like the blades will contact, but they don't because of the unique design that Charlie Kaman innovated back in the 60s. So what makes it even more unique is it's the only helicopter that's serviceable today that can lift more weight than it weighs. So it has a lifting capability of 6,000 pounds.
So the Kaman helicopter, I've been out on forest fires. I used to work for Columbia Helicopters. I was a Chinook crew chief, and watching that aircraft work it's amazing because it's not a very big aircraft, and you look at that and you look at what it'll pick up, and it's pretty incredible, the power, the speed with which it does that. What exactly gives the Kaman, I guess, the extra ability that a standard aircraft is not going to have, a standard helicopter? You know, you see Bell Mediums, similar lift capabilities, but they just don't quite have it.
Yeah, you bet. When we look at the design of K-MAX, we've on purpose made sure it was simplistic. So off-the-shelf components, we don't overcomplicate it. It's a single pilot operated. If you want to have single pilot, we can also do it autonomous. We didn't overcomplicate it with a bunch of futuristic avionics. Certainly we're certified. We have all the capable things that you need to accomplish the mission, whether it's firefighting, whether it's logging, whether it's doing transmission towers. So keeping the aircraft light, looking for processes on how to make the aircraft lighter, not staying with the same design. So we always look at opportunities to take weight out of the aircraft and transfer that into load capability. So we just don't overcomplicate things at Kaman.
Sure, one of the things with that design too, that with any, I guess you'd call tandem rotor, or in your case the meshing rotor, there's no tail rotor.
Yep.
So without that tail rotor, you've got all your power going to lift rather than directional control.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the key thing. You look at a regular helicopter, you're going to see that tail rotor, which helps counter the centrifugal force that the main rotor presents. So when you have intermeshing, it eliminates that need for that counter force, which transfers right into more useful load and less complexity, less parts to break, which is what our user operators really appreciate.
Yeah, it's an amazing machine.
So as a crew chief, you don't have all those extra components, the drive shafts, the tail rotors, the bearings, so you simplified maintenance, and that decreases cost, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. When you look at the operating costs compared to some of our competitors, it's a night and day difference. We'll be 3x less the cost to operate. Also, when you look at it, and I'm a pilot as well, you have the confidence that you know when you go in to present a mission, you're going to take off. You have less components that wear and break out, leak, wear over time, and when you're flying this airframe, you know it's going to get you back.
When I talk to a lot of pilots, a lot of them are excited to kind of show you what's new, what's next, and they kind of get all excited thinking about the future, but it seems like you kind of counterbalance that because you're like talking about what you're so proud of that still works and what hasn't had to change as aviation has evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know what we're really good at, and doing things the same for a long time sometimes gets you in trouble, but when you know it works, you continue that. But we don't sit on our laurels. We knew that to meet some customer demands, the U.S. military, we wanted to go more autonomous. So we've now partnered with Near Earth Autonomy to get back into that more autonomous nature. We have our K-MAX Cargo that we just announced last month that we're showing at another show this week that we've already got deposits and orders for, which is going to usher us into the next chapter of Kaman innovation.
So tell us more about the autonomy. How exactly does that work, and how do you control the accuracy?
So we plug in where we want this aircraft to go, the elevation, waypoints, and it will take us there within 1 meter. We've demonstrated this on a half-scale model already. By spring of 2022, our full-scale prototype will be flying. We expect the first deliveries of this cargo, we've named it Kaman Cargo. It's going to deliver ahead of our U.S. military needs in 2025. It will be ready for surgical delivery prior to that.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So you have a helicopter we already know lifts everything, including more than it weighs. Can you expand a little bit on the cargo, specifically the cargo version?
Yeah, the cargo version is going to be, and it's smaller than the original K-MAX. It's going to have 4 propellers. It's going to be a vertical lift. It's going to be powered by a traditional tried and true, not a lot of innovation other than the autonomy. So it'll be a 300 horsepower off-the-shelf turbine engine today. It's going to lift 800 pounds with a range of 500 miles.
Wow, that's incredible.
And so we've already demonstrated the half-scale model. We did make one small change of the drive system. We went from belt to chain just because we saw in long-term reliability, we could enter into service with a belt, but we knew for our name and reliability, we wanted a chain system, and that's the only change we made from the half-scale model.
Well, anytime you can say vertical lift and 500 miles in the same sentence, that's a big deal.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's an incredible range. Most helicopters won't do that.
Yeah.
No.
As we're just talking about this and your passion that clearly comes out as you speak about the company, when you're here, sitting here as an adult, running a company, do you ever think back to just being a kid and being a boy, playing with your helicopters, and like you've realized these dreams and made massive achievements?
Yeah, sometimes you got to pinch yourself. I remember, I was talking to my parents a couple weeks ago about this. Back in the day when the insurance salesmen would come by, they were smart. They'd always they'd always give us little balsa wood airplanes you'd put together with a little metal clip, and they'd always give that to me. I'd always go outside and play. So it's the imprinting as you get as a child, and then you just set goals and take that step forward. But you always look back at where I ended up, and I'm not done yet, and we're never done. So there's still challenges out there. You know, what can we do to help other people? You know, be a good champion for other people to come up, and that's really what I'm focused on now.
Awesome. Well, Mark, thank you so much for your time. And you heard him say it. He's not done. We can't wait to see you next year and see what you've accomplished and what's on the agenda.
You bet.
So,
thank you.
Great. Thank you.
It's great to be back face to face in the business aviation industry. On behalf of the crew of Straight and Level, a special thanks to all of our guests for joining us live on the broadcast set in the NBAA static display. I'm Halsey Smith, and until next time, blue skies.